Good morning, fellow Commodore computer fans. I have translated a tour of the Frankfurt Commodore's offices, so hopefully you enjoy. I hope you gain some value out of this, and thank you for your continued support. The original footage was filmed by an employee around 1993 towards the end of Commodore Computer's life. The museum or showroom was located in the ground floor of the Commodore computer offices. And this is a direct translation of what the tour guide was saying. So hopefully I've got everything right, and hopefully you enjoy. Let's get started. This is Commodore Computer's museum here in Frankfurt. As far as I know, the oldest object here is still the mechanical desk calculator. There were even video games created that were really old school. At top we see, for instance, an LED digital watch, which was also one of the first electronic activities of Commodore, and also a chess game. Here you see a bunch of calculators, all kinds of versions, also scientific ones. Then we entered the world of microprocessors with the MOS 6502. It's the circuit board in the back, the CIM1. It was a single board computer with, I think it was 128 or 256 bytes of RAMs, and based on the 6502, the entry into microcomputers was the PET, which stands for Personal Electronic Transactor, with that nice small keyboard. The real experts will notice that this is not the very first, because the first cassette recorder looked a little different. But those are just details. The PET, which was around 1977-1978, later became CBM, with a bigger keyboard and bigger screen. Here you can see a 4032, which later became the 8000 series. We pretty much dominated the office market, at least in Germany, back around 1980. 1980 is also when home computers started appearing. The first of that kind was the VC20, the first colour home computer worldwide. A big success back then, which was soon replaced by the Commodore 64, which brought the ultimate success. There was also a variation of the Commodore 64, the SX-64, the portable model. Strangely, that one is still in use at some companies today, and now they are desperately looking for spare parts. The floppy disk drive belonged to the VC20. Here you can see the VC-1540. Then there were different cases for the Commodore 64, matching the case of the 128 that came a little later, which you can see down here. The Commodore 128 was 3 computers in one, but therefore was a little complex and expensive, which is why it never really took off. Another computer range that was meant to be a successor for the Commodore 64 was the Commodore 116. Here in the middle, we can see a Commodore 16, which also came in the bread bin design. And on top, we have the Plus 4 as a bigger model of the series, with integrated application software with which was planned on taking on Lotus 123, but that was a big flop back then, These computers were sold later via Aldi, relatively successful. Okay, so these devices were all pretty much the same technology as the good old PET, but around the early 1980s, they slowly moved into 16-bit technology and they had to come up with new ideas. And at the beginning of 1985, they brought PC10 as a construction from bronze. This reads PC10-11, but the case is basically that of a typical PC10. So this is PC XT, which is compatible with IBM with around 4.77 MHz. Later that year, the first Amiga came out in the US. Here you can see the Amiga 1000. That one didn't come out in Germany yet though. In Germany, it came out almost 9 months later. Almost half of 1986 was over until you were able to buy one. Next to it, hard to tell apart from the Amiga 1000, is not a common version of the Commodore 128 with the integrated floppy disk drive and a separated keyboard. And then they developed the Sidecar. Its purpose was to be connected to the Amiga 1000 on the right side, upgrading it to a PC in a full compatible manner. Here we continue with the next generations of PCs in a slightly more compact case. And that was already 2 years later, around 1988. The PC10 and PC20 in a new case. And here the first AT. That one wasn't developed in-house anymore, that one was outsourced, at least the circuit board. If we continue down, we can see the big Amiga, the Amiga 2000, that was equipped with slots so you could upgrade it. That one is still in use in high numbers, even in big processors at Motorola. I totally forgot something over here, sorry. You can see up here a keyboard because up here is the Amiga 500. The Amiga with the highest quantities built of all time. The Amiga 500 and the Amiga 2000 came out as a pair, while the Amiga 1000, nobody really knew if it was a low-end or high-end computer. It was crystal clear starting with the Amiga 500 and Amiga 2000. Everybody had their market. The Amiga 500 was a total low-price device, and the 2000 was for professional needs. This is the gold-plated Commodore 64. There are in total 1,000 pieces, so this isn't a completely unique item. It was to commemorate the 1 millionth Commodore 64 in Germany, December the 5th, 1986. Aside from that, you can see quite a few trophies here. For instance, from the magazine Chip for the Computer of the Year. There are 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10 awards at least. So from 1981 to 1992, we have everything. Do you like the Breadbox Commodore Computer Museum? If you do, you can help support us by using Super Thanks.